My name is ImMadness. I'm a professional player for Renegades. My preferred legends are Wraith and Loba. My love for Apex, it's like kind of like falling in love. You know, it kind of just like slowly happened, and then all of a sudden it was like, bam, I just realized like it was a great game. I don't know, the game just felt right. Like the movement, it's just something different. It felt like that fast-paced competitiveness that I was longing for and I couldn't find in, you know, current shooters that were popular at the time. There's almost always going to be a different scenario. That's what I really enjoyed about BRs as a general, and something that I've loved about Apex and just that kind of genre is the randomness. You're never going to have the same scenario twice, and if you do, it's very rare. It was just really fun for me, and it just drew me in.
It's just going to be the last two members of Nightmare who've been ratting here forever, and it's just Renegades coming through.
There was a few roadblocks that I faced when I got into esports. When I very first started my streaming career, because that's kind of what led me into a competitive career, I was creating content and just enjoying Apex, and that's when the opportunity to play professionally came from the original COG roster. My parents were very upset about what I wanted to do with my life. At the time, I had a scholarship for college, and I was going to college and getting a degree, and the scholarship that I had cut more than like 80% of my tuition. So when I brought up the idea that I wanted to drop all of that to pursue my personal passion, my parents were very upset with me, on the fence. They told me flat out that I'm dumb if I ever thought I could make it in something like this. I was like, give me a year, let me see what I can do. And the opportunities came, and you know, when I originally got offered the COG opportunity, I showed them, look, I was like, this company, this organization is willing to pay me this much. Like, I showed them the contract, and they're like, they're willing to pay you to play games for that much? That was like the turning point when they saw that outsourced opportunity. They saw this is a real thing, because my parents' generation don't necessarily understand what we're doing, what's going on nowadays in the world of esports, just content creation in general. Obviously, it hurts to hear my true supporters, my parents, not believe in me, but that it was like that when I had that contract, that was like the turning point, and now they're my biggest supporters. If I don't stream like a day, my parents will text me saying, when are you streaming? Why aren't you streaming? The moment that esports kind of clicked in me that like this was like something worth pursuing was when I think it was after the first ALGS that I won with my original roster, How and Vax. I'm sure like you can find footage on it of like just the loudness. And there was a moment when in the tournament that I started screaming communications. I just started choking because I was just so excited.
Let's go! Oh my God!
And it was like this pure form of enjoyment that I never experienced. I think that was the moment that I realized that that's what I was meant to do. You can't explain the difference between an online competing to LAN and a local environment. It's so much different, and it's genuinely like pure adrenaline, and it's just a lot of fun. Even though I love competing and it is like something I'm very passionate about, my heart is in content creation. It's where I started. It's what got me here, really. That's where my heart is always going to be. And when I'm competing, what drives me, it's not so much to prove to myself that I'm capable of winning. It's to make my community proud. And that's something that I've stressed on, like any time we've ever won a tournament. The first thing that I would say is like, I hope I made you guys proud. What makes me so hopeful about the current roster that I'm playing with is two reasons. How is the original teammate that I had the most success and was at a time the most successful player in the game with. And now moving forward, it's been like a year and a half since we've actually competed in a roster. In that time, I did a lot of self-reflection and realized that like these trends are happening for a reason, and the only way for me to truly start succeeding again and make a difference, not only just for the betterment of myself, but for others, is to show my frustration in a more positive way, something that actually provides value. And that change alone, I think, is what makes me and Pau able to compete again together at an extremely high level. And Sykes is a player who has never gotten the opportunity to really shine and experience true competitiveness, but from the little light that we've put him in and opportunities that we've given him, he's shown exponential potential to be one of the top performers. He's just someone that's worth the investment, not like, oh, that's bad performance, he's not working, get him out. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Additionally, we feel like he brings a value to the roster that, apart from mechanics, is extremely valuable, which that being, you know, the positivity that he brings, the encouragement, the lack of tilt. You know, he doesn't just shut down. I think that should be the forefront factor in every single person that's looking for a teammate or even a roster to perform in. is to look at how do they handle failing? How do they handle the lack of success? Do they shut down? Do they want to give up? Or do they take some time to reflect and say, okay, messed up. How can we fix this and how can we prevent that from happening?
But Nightmare goes down first. Luminosity loses a member, and we see Renegades pushing it to make sure they can take it, and they do! Renegades coming out on top.
If you're looking to root for Renegades, you're looking to root for a team that's kind of like a Phoenix kind of team. If you look at the history of the players, especially between me and Pau, we've undergone a lot of hardships over the last few years. Despite all these changes, despite all these bad things that have happened to us, we're still able to compete at the top level. That's kind of like what we stand for at Renegades as the current roster. But we're really looking to as well make Renegades proud. Renegades is an amazing roster and an organization, and they have been nothing but family to me and treated me like one. I think opponents should be afraid of Renegades because not only do we have a controller aim assist abuser on our roster, but we have the shortest professional player on this as well. And that is a big threat.